There we go. All right. Just moving the microphone around here. Sorry, guys. Anyway, little different platform we're on here, so had to do something different with the microphone. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Thank everybody that came out last weekend. Of course, 269 entries. That's one of the biggest, definitely the biggest one that we've had this year. Uh, great, great place to do that race, right? A lot of room for camping, and we made sure that people were going to have adequate power for that weekend, which is a lot of work. I want to thank Equipment Share for their sponsorship with equipment and the generator and cords and the spider boxes and all that. So Wade and Michael Smith, of course, he's a racer from over on the other side of the hill. He makes sure that people from Equipment Share help us out throughout the series, and really appreciate them on doing that. Thanks to Kevin Christensen and Steven and Anthony Sylvester, just so many people to thank. I don't have a list in front of me, of course, but everybody at the NCT and all the racers around, they don't see all those behind the scenes. So, thanks to everybody that came out and with help with pipe, help remove pipe, was putting the loop back in, just all those things, just everything that happened with last weekend was really great. Thanks to Cowboy Coffee for coming out, making sure everybody had their caffeine. And then, of course, they had that lemonade for the weekend when it was hot. And they had some great breakfast sandwiches, some really good breakfast sandwiches. And I know, talk to her, and she's gonna be available for us later this year, it sounds like. And actually, they're gonna help come out on one of the NORA oval events here, I think, in August. And then we'll definitely have her back next year for the NCT for Burlington. So great weekend. Thursday night, we had a little rain early in the afternoon, so we weren't able to get the pipe completely done before AJ and Joe were able to start their clinic, but for the driving part of it. But they did a great track walk and talk to the group around how to approach and attack attack those corners and the jumps and everything and what they should be looking for and doing it. We have that on video. So we're going to take and put something together on that. So someone wants to be able to go back and watch that, and then AJ and Joe did some pit talk about, setup stuff and diffs were a big topic, and lubricants and cleaning and what you should be doing for cleaning and things you shouldn't be using for cleaning and why that is and how that affects your arms and your plastics and all that stuff that they're made of and why they work the way they do and how those chemicals change those um, properties. And if are using those chemicals on both arms, let's say, and then you break an arm and put a new arm on, yeah, they might both be mediums, but that other arm has got a lot of the internal, if you say, like, lubricants that are in those products aren't there anymore because of the cleaning solutions. So now you have a different rigidity in that arm compared to the new arm that you just pulled out of the bag. So, really good stuff. Consistency is what his main topic was. And if you're out practicing and you're not having a good track and you're not having good tires and you're not having a good setup, you're not having consistent practice. So the information you're getting back is not gonna be an accurate information for your program. So make sure that all the things, including the track, is the way you want the information to come back. So really good learning for everybody that was involved with that. So really appreciate AJ and Joe doing that. I know that they're going to be offering their clinic again on Thursday night at Walla Walla coming up here in August. So that will be coming out soon. Get that on the Shopify so people can get signed up for that. And of course, that's free to anyone. I think they try to limit that to around 15 people, just so it's a more like intimate setting, if you want to use those words. So people get to ask questions and don't feel like that they're just hanging around in the back and not being heard if they have questions. And the same thing with Joe and AJ. They want to make sure everybody understands the information and the topics that they're talking about. So again, great weekend. Appreciate everybody coming out. There's a lot of good battles. Um, track layout. You know, there was a couple little tweaks that we had to do. Like I said, we had a little weather on Thursday that maybe put us back a few hours. You know, talk to Chad about those things. We had definitely had some good ideas and a good design. I know there's a few. I don't want to use the word complaints, um, but it's people that would like to see that triple in the back coming out of that bowl turn, maybe shaped a little bit different. You definitely had to be on your game. And if you were, and that feature, you know, that feature worked out really well. If you were a little bit off, that feature didn't work out for most people in that case. So, and we took all that information and we'll make those improvements, right? Jamie Nash and all the people, and Brooke Chu and anyone else that was helping out with signups on Friday. You know, greatly appreciated. You know, Stephen Gillespie there, of course, he was helping out, and Casey, you know, he was around. I don't think he was there. No, he was there. I was thinking of somebody else, but you know, great to see those guys coming out. They're a little bit new to the dirt off-road program, but they're in it, and their smiles all the way through the weekend. Um, you know, congratulations on all the winners there in the raffle, and we want to thank, you know, all those sponsors from A Main to TZO to Extreme to Coyote. Um, Little Guy Hobbies was there, of course. Clinic, you know, they're a big supporter of the program. Of course, Boom Graphics, Mike Garrison, you know, he's a sponsor and supporter of the NCT series. We got Flint Nash Designs, we got Garage Door Condos, Rob Monday out of Idaho. Got Brett Williams there of H2O Solutions. If you have a water system anywhere in the United States, and I even think even outside the United States, and you need to, you know, to have that water system checked and cleaned and up to date, and find out what you guys got going on, you know, reach out to Brett Williams, H2O Solutions out of Yakima, and they can get you they can get you set up. I had a long conversation with him and what he does, and definitely could people I think around the country that might have some water treatment in the community's problem. He could be the company that come in and fix those or let you know what you need to do to improve that. So thanks, Brett, for all your support. Uh, I think and Techno, of course, you know, they've been a supporter of the program for quite a long time, and you know, the NCT's been around a long time, longest running series there is in the states, and you know, we're going to keep that going. We got a good roll going on, and we're trucking ahead. We got some things that we're working on in the background. This is one of them, changing our streaming platform, and Anthony Sylvester, the people that have been around and seen him, and he's new to the RC world pretty much altogether, but just picked up a 8 scale buggy and doing well with that, and he's going to be taking on the media portion for the NCT, so we can concentrate on the other side of the NCT and builds and sponsorships and what you guys want. But he's going to help us out with the social side. So thanks, Anthony, for coming on board. And we have a lot of great ideas, and we're going to be working those through here in the next. Toward the end of the season, and really be hopefully implementing those in the off season, and hopefully you guys will see a positive direction going into the 27. So any other comments we want to talk about last weekend, and what, you know, how was your weekend, how was your race weekend, how was the track, how was what you were running, um, you know, any of those comments, you know, that's stuff that we want to talk about, you know, consistency, you know, throughout the series, that when you guys show up, you know that this is what's expected, from start times to the RD. Ryan Rivas, of course, great guy on the mic, great, he's been around a long time, been through a lot of racing, done a lot of announcing, local level, series level, carpet, outdoor, you know, just a great person, great attitude. Can't thank him enough for coming on board. And he wants to be our permanent series RD, and even maybe another type of race besides the series, that we know the Can-Am, don't have the flyer done for that completely, but, the or October, like 23rd to 24th this year, of course, up in Linden, we'll be doing that. That should be coming out, soon once we get our final touches on the flyer and sponsors and all that kind of jazz. But Ryan Rivas is on board with that, and of course, I want to thank Chad Dodd for what he does, and we have um, a commitment from him, and some stuff that we're going to be doing different, going forward. And he'll be be a track build for the Cam-An, and Evan Roth, our friend from Canada there, Tater, he's a young and impressionable, and works his little hiney off, right? We know that, and great racer, Techno and MKS and J Concepts, and I don't remember what engine he's running that side, but anyway, he's a great person. He's gonna be around a long time doing this, and he's got heart, passion in there, and thanks a lot, Evan, for everything that you do and coming down. And he's been doing the RD and club racing, or RD for NORA, doing a great job. After our next event for the NORA club racers, we'll get the points out for you guys to see where you guys stand. On that. One of the things that was real important to us for the build this year for the NCT is to get some drainage. We know we get a lot of moisture in the early spring, and even a couple of good showers or a couple days of rain here in the summer can really put a damper if we can't get that water, shoved off that surface. So that was one of the things that really worked on this year, is having a track layout that could shed some water and get it off the track, really quickly. So we haven't had any weather since that, but the little bit that we've tried with sprinklers and letting hoses run, and seeing where that water sheds off to, I think we're in pretty good shape. And I know Kevin Christensen he has a piece of equipment, I believe. He'll have it there for a couple of weeks. I forget Chris's last name that they got that from, but thanks Chris for letting that piece of equipment, bring that piece of equipment, so some fine tuning can come. And they're working on some stuff, on the next track over, the track oval, with some infield turf, I believe, to kind of jazz that up, so it's not just a bunch of dirt on the inside. They had a rally course in there and had grass some years ago, and that just took a lot of extra time to try to make sure that keep watered and groomed and mowed and all that. So they're doing some turf that they picked up, and can use that piece of equipment to help move that turf around. So that's really cool on them. Anyway, AJ and Joe, they've committed to the wall. I don't know about Mondays. That's getting really close to Worlds for them, and we know the caliber of driver that AJ is, and big help from Joe, and where they're taking their next level commitment from. Now they're doing more parts and services now. Really help the racers out throughout the Northwest and throughout the country and the world. Shipping is a great thing now, and it's just a phone call, and we have FaceTime and all these other things to help describe what's going on, and be able to be there in real time if we have questions about parts or setups, and just interacting. I was on the Facebook live chat here just a little bit ago with Tyler Clark there from Creekside, and saw some guys over there. So that's a great avenue for getting to talk about what's going on in the RC world, what they want to see next at their track, and just all of those things. So technology in some cases can not be such a welcoming thing, but in other cases it can help us out in at great lengths. Um, so it looks like Jamie Nash just responded that Joe and AJ have committed to Mondays, so that's great. Looking forward to them. The next two races they'll be involved. So people that aren't able to make the Walla Walla clinic, the Walla Walla weekend, they have another opportunity to learn and get some inside info from Joe and AJ. So really appreciate that. So no live caller this weekend. No live caller this week. I mean, not doing a lot of screen transfers right now. Just trying out this platform. So we want to hear how's the picture look? How's the mic look? We did a little bit of testing, but once it goes out to the YouTube side, we need to, we want to see what that how that comes through. So I'm going to let the chat go here for a minute. I appreciate all you guys for you know watching the video and understanding the content and what we're trying to do, and we're going to keep working on this and keep wanting to grow. So subscribe to it if you haven't. Share this out. We want to push this out, and we want to get some topics from you guys so we can talk about, get everybody informed, get the groups together, and let everybody know what you guys want, and what our direction is, and where we're going to be, and how we're making changes, and what those changes are going to be as soon as we get those close to know that they're going to work correctly. So appreciate all that from everybody. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, Jamie Nash. Thanks, Brooke. Thanks, Ryan Chu. Thanks, Carson Phipps. Of course, he's been behind the scenes on some things. He's a busy guy, and um, with just his daily job, and of course keeping up on everything. And he had a little rough weekend, but that's okay. Carson's got a good head on his shoulders, and he'll come back swinging. Congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations, AJ. Um, you know, I believe he has 3 Nitro wins and 3 TQs so far this summer. So like to see somebody come up and give AJ a run. That's what he's looking for. That's what he's doing these clinics for. Also, is to get some people moved up in their program, maybe even move up into the same class that he's running. Liam Coles. That kid's fast. He's gonna get his stuff even dialed in better. He's got a great program over there, and he'll work on it, and he give AJ and those guys a run. So we know there's some other guys around the Northwest that can make these, and we want them to come and battle, and AJ and all those guys at the top, they want them to come and battle. So nice to see Toby Jenkins this weekend coming out. I know he did pretty well. He wasn't there on Friday for practice, but glad to see him. So anyway, we're gonna sign off and end Thursday. It's nice outside, so um, I know there's some racing going on this weekend. Club race at Die Hard for dirt, I believe. I know there's some oval racing going on, and 3-4 weeks from now, we'll see everybody in Walla Walla. So appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you later.